Welcome to Coreum Concepts. Thanks for stopping by the channel today. Hopefully I can leave you some value in exchange. You can hit that subscribe button for me, like the video, and share a quick update here this morning. Just checking in on the markets. Coreum under some pressure, fell below that 9-cent mark, currently sitting at 8.793. Just thought I'd show you the signals here on TradingView. This is on the monthly chart. The daily and hourly charts obviously not sitting in the buy position, but just figured I'd show you on the monthly view for your long-term traders out there. Things are starting to look up. I'm watching this upward trend here. It's been a while since we had an upward trend. Takes us back to this run up here. So hopefully this is the start of a new trend, and we can start conquering some of these levels on the way back up. Sologenic. Again, I'm just have this on the daily chart here. You can see that volume very, very high. Like the last time the volume was up that high, we're on a pretty big run up. So we got a lot of volume here. Some price movement up indeed, but keep your eyes on Sologenic. And XRP just below that 50-cent mark, 49.962 cents. And Bitcoin is still just above that 25,000 mark at 25,801. Total crypto market cap, it's slid down a little bit since yesterday, 1.018 trillion. Gold at 1918, silver 2291, DXY at 105,056. Checking in the Aquarium Network on the Smart Stake Analytics page. Total stake just crossed 226 million, representing 42.8% of the supply locked up. Current APY 34.3%. On delegations, minimal at the moment. You can see the jostling back and forth here. You see Bitrue is now strongest voting power on the ecosystem. Cosmos Stations close behind. Zen Lounge in third. 007. Coreum in fourth, and Informal Systems at 8.5 billion in fifth. Checking in on the Coreum community, DAO and Validator, currently sitting at 2.1 million tokens, 3% commission fee, 119 unique delegators. We gained 8 in the last week and 33 in the last month. 100% uptime, everything's running good there. Coreum community, DAO and Validator. Do have that snapshot coming up. We're going to be doing some tutorial videos today, just some shorts on how to stake and delegate on not just our validator, but just properly spread your delegation around several validators. You want to check out our link tree, keep up to date on things like that. Here's a validator contact, YouTube channel here, our GitHub partners, Zeev, got a link through to here, and link to Discord. Ask any questions on any of those formats. All right, just going to check a little bit of the crypto Twitter news here today. I found this pretty interesting that Xi Jinping G20 snub signals China is now in full opposition to the world order. So it should be noted, I'm not going to read this article here, but the gist of it is Xi Jinping did not attend the G20. And snubbing the G20 is just the beginning. China wants to replace it. I think we've all been following BRICS close enough to understand that that's on its way. I'm not a participant in the Algorand network ecosystem. I do have some interest in this story though, so I'm going to pursue it a little bit further. I thought I would share it here. Algorand is an ISO 222 coin like Xrp and many others that I do track. I do think that Algorand definitely has a place in the upcoming financial system. So this was interesting to me. It's kind of snuck by me. It says we're celebrating Agrotoken for World Agricultural Day. Last August, so a year ago, history was made. The first ever transaction using the Agrotoken Visa card, enabling farmers to use their gains as a form of payment, powered by the Algorand blockchain. Agrotoken has made impressive advances, tokenizing over 200,000 tons of grain, as well as partnering with Banco Galicia to use Agrotokens as collateral in Argentina. So you can learn more at Agrotoken Interesting project. I want to look into that a little bit further. Tokenizing commodities is obviously of interest to me in the Sologenic and Coreum XRP ledger community. Dark Horse posted a little video clip here I wanted to share. Xrpl. So who is Fortress Trust? A silver member of the ABA, banking provided by Bank Prov, partnered with iTrust Alloy Regulation. To say this acquirement by Ripple is extremely advantageous for them as a company is an understatement. So let's just take a listen to what they got to say about this here.
I'm Judy Shaw for NYSE Floor Talk. Joining me today is Albert Fortner. He is CEO at Fortress Trust. And I also have Tom Michelina. He is president at Fortress Trust. Gentlemen, thank you both for joining me today. Wonderful to have you here on the floor.
Thank you so much. Excited to be here.
Thanks, Judy.
Pleasure to have you. Now, before we get started, quick note to viewers, this interview is for informational purposes only. The NYSE doesn't recommend any investments or investment strategies. All right, so Tom, let's start with you. What's Fortress Trust?
So, Judy, Fortress Trust is a fully regulated, fully licensed, non-depository trust company. And we're part of a larger ecosystem that we call Fortress Blockchain Technologies. And under our umbrella, we have Fortress Wallet, which is a fully embeddable, white-labeled wallet. And we have Fortress NFTs. So we're able to do your NFT minting. You combine that with Fortress Trust, and we are an innovative, full-suite solution for Web3 infrastructure.
Yeah. And the idea is this area is developing so rapidly, and we want to be positioned to be a leader in it and not a follower. So it's a heavy lift to have all of those under one umbrella, but yet we think it's worth it because really NFTs, tokenization is, I think, the next evolution of the internet, and we want to be a leader in that space.
All right, now, Albert, a lot of your team have a regulatory background. Mm-hmm. So tell me, how does that impact the way you operate your business?
Yeah, so I spent my years as a regulator, 25 years as a state banking regulator. The last 10 as the banking commissioner in Wyoming, which, if you're familiar with that, Wyoming was a leader and tried to be fostering to institutions that wanted to be in the crypto and blockchain space. And so from that, I was able to see the industry, the crypto blockchain industry, evolve rapidly. But part of that evolution requires a compliant manner. You know, the move fast, break things, ask for forgiveness, not permission mentality has shifted a lot in digital assets. And so when I came on at Fortress, I wanted to make sure that I had as much regulatory chops as possible. But I wanted to find team members that understood and know how to balance both innovation and regulation. You can't have one without the other. You either get yourself in trouble or you just freeze and don't get anywhere. and so we're building a team up. I've got some core colleagues with me that we have roughly 75 years worth of bank and digital asset regulatory experience. And I think that will position us to be a leader in this space, give us an advantage. And then another part that's very important is because we have to have some strategic tech thinking, tech forward bank partners, someone like Tom, who's a career banker, coming on and managing those and establishing those relationships was also very important for us.
Judy, Fortress has a regulatory body within that nobody else has. We are unmatched in this environment, which is why we bring experts in like Albert and some of his folks that he brought along with him. So we're very blessed to have the regulatory piece to our puzzle.
So there you go, guys. That's a powerful acquisition indeed. The regulatory background that these guys come from. I'm very pleased that Sologenic, Coreum are well entrenched into the Ripple ecosystem. And I think this is all going to work well together once things go live. Ralph of Kahneman here posted Karma coverage. Here's a research paper text about front running if you need it. Aligns with what Bob was saying. And this is interesting here, actually. You don't hear much about it. I mean, you'll hear about the strengths of the DEX on the XRP ledger, but a ripple for change analysis of front running on the XRP ledger. Yeah, it's worth noting from the paper. Of the 1.4 million in front-running opportunity they found in a 2-month time span, 1 million of that was with the solo token. I wonder why that is. Lower liquidity equals greater front-running opportunity. This is an interesting paper here. It explains front-running opportunities on the Xrpl ledger. Just take a look at the abstract here. Blockchains are disrupting traditional finance by reducing the number of intermediaries and providing transparency. Blockchains, however, come with their own set of prominent issues. One such challenge is front-running. Attackers try to influence the transaction order so that their transaction executes before their victim's transaction. While front-running is a well-studied topic on Ethereum, it is unknown whether other blockchains are also susceptible to such attacks. One proposed defense strategy against front-running attacks is to randomize the transaction execution order. The Xrp ledger is the highest value blockchain to use such a strategy. Furthermore, it runs a decentralized exchange which provides ample front-running opportunities. Therefore, in the context of the Xrp ledger, we examine whether randomized transaction order provides sufficient protection against front-running. Our results show that the mechanism embedded in the Xrp ledger protocol is insufficient to prevent these attacks. We showcase 2 strategies to perform front-running attacks. The first, naive strategy, uses randomly generated accounts, whereas the second uses carefully selected accounts to improve the attack's success. Based on our analysis, the Xrp ledger's historical data, we estimate the attackers could generate up to approximately 1.4 million USD profit over 2 months, provided they succeeded to front-run every opportunity. Now, obviously, that's a little difficult to achieve, but with technology, it certainly makes that easier to achieve just the same. So it's just good to know about that and understand that that is possible. You can download the full PDF to understand fully what's going on there if you like. The question that I leave this article with is I know Coreum has taken a lot of the good from the Xrp ledger and incorporated it into the Aquarium Network. And I also know that they've learned a lot of lessons from Ripple and the Xrp ledger that I'm sure they've built around or accommodated in the design of Coreum. So I'm just curious to know if they have anything in the Coreum technology that will help reduce this problem there. And again, that's just a question I'm left with because obviously it's has its own negative effects if exploited. Okay, and one of my favorite accounts for monitoring the XLS-30 amendment vote is Crippen Rider. From what I gather, I haven't looked much into him, but gather he has a validator on the network possibly, but nonetheless provides great information about what's going on here. So with the vote going live, obviously a lot of excitement and news on crypto Twitter and YouTube about that proposal coming through, and I admit myself I was very excited to see that happening. But after reading this, it kind of brought me to the understanding that this might take a while yet. So I just thought I'd mention this here to the community, but something to watch for and understand and maybe gauge when things are in fact getting a little closer to being passed. So we'll check in here with the publication of Ripple version 1.12.0. The AMM amendment procedure has only recently begun. Yet despite this, no one votes in support of the most recent amendments, such as AMM or clawback. The reasons behind this may surprise you. So this is just a shot of the current voting, and just not much is going on there at all. I've been watching it too, and that's why this article became of interest to me. I was kind of wondering what was going on. Network state. Let's begin by looking at how many nodes have already updated to version 1.12 and how many of those are part of the recently formed XRP UNL. 679 nodes total, 136 nodes are version 1.12. That represents 20%. 17 UNL validators represent 48% that have version 1.12. Reasoning. Knowing these numbers, we can now easily conclude the many reasons why one should not vote in favor of any new amendment yet. If you do, please openly disclose your intention to do so in a symbolic fashion and vow to withdraw it if the quorum is nearing. Amendment block. This is the first reason. The primary reason is what is known as getting amendment blocked, a security feature of the Xrpl that calls for nodes to agree on a set of agreed upon rules. Simply said, if XLS-30 AMM, an amendment based on version 1.12, is successfully passed, all nodes that have not been updated to 1.12 will be blocked. This is done to avoid older nodes misinterpreting transactions in the absence of the most recent code version. To clarify, if your node is not in accordance with the network's enabled amendments, the node lacks essential information to comprehend the rule changes and how to correctly process transactions on the Xrpl ledger. An amendment block node can't determine the validity of the ledger, submit or process transactions, participate in the consensus process, or vote on future amendments. The second reason, the amount of change. As we all know, the AMM is a massive effort to change the Xrpl code in order to provide additional features to its payment engine. To gain a sense of it, let's look at a few amendments and previous standards. XLS-30, 100 files changed, 18,000 code additions, 649 code deletions. The Hooks Amendment, 106 files changed, 13,000 plus code additions, and 530 code deletions. And XLS-20, the NFT, 97 files changed, 10,000 code additions, and 770 code deletions. If you recall back then, the overwhelming number of unanticipated issues that did develop with the NFT support, as well as all the unnecessary bug fixes that are offered in practicality every release to this day. Now multiply this worry by 2 to get to reason 2. Third reason, security and load. As is typical with major code changes, a security audit is required to assess code quality. This was done initially back by Certic, covered that as it happened here in the channel, a well-known penetration testing and security auditing firm specializing in smart contracts. Despite the audit, Nick Bugalis and Richard Xrpl discovered a new bug after the audit was completed, which could have had severe implications if not caught by the team. Fix AMM prevent orphaned objects inconsistent ledger state, number 4626. If you recall back with XLS-20, RippleX Dev produced a report on the results of their rigorous testing findings on the predicted network load when NFTs were added. This type of public reporting is still lacking for the XLS-30 AMM. And the fourth reason, and this is just his personal opinion here, as with anything else on the planet, you never get everyone to agree with you. As a result, it is understandable why certain Xrpl UNL validators are opposed to ever adopting the XLS-30 codebase into a XRP ledger. This is fine since it demonstrates the decentralized nature of the XRP ledger and its potential growth. The fact that some people may not have had time to review the AMM code, and likewise a valid reason to oppose XLS-30 for the time being. Solutions. This is his first solution. This, in my opinion, is still to be done in order to quicken the process and convince any Xrpl UNL included validator to vote in support of the proposal. 2. In the solutions, wait for the nodes to upgrade to 1.12 to avoid amendment blocking on several nodes at once. Give devs more time to reassess the AMM code and don't hurry approval. And second, security assessment by a reputable auditor who is well versed with Xrpl. Now, should this recommendation be followed, that's obviously going to add, a month or more easily to this process. Number 3 in the solutions, publicize performance testing findings to raise the likelihood of Xrpl health stabilization and support for the increased transaction load caused by native on-ledger AMMs at scale. Healthy, unbiased debates that are not based on hype. Couldn't agree more with that. All right, so in a nutshell here, reasonable time frame is required. XRPL's health and security are top priorities. Currently, too many nodes are at risk of being amendment blocked. More security audits needed. More performance tests needed. More open and neutral talks are required. I'll just finish this off in respect for his work here. He says, I write about DLT and crypto, but primarily about XRP and XRPL ecosystem. If this interests you and you want to learn more, please follow me here at Crippen Rider. Please feel free to contribute by sharing here. So again, great thread there. Unfortunately, it's bringing a little bit of bad news for me, or cooling my jets a little bit anyways, on my expectations on when AMM might be proposed. Looks like we're a ways off yet. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just means, the idea of it only needs 2 weeks to pass the vote and Sologenics ready to deploy. It just appears that we're quite a ways away from that target also. So that's something to keep your eyes on. We all want this to come as soon as possible, I'm sure. And I just like to provide some balance here. I don't like just to promote all the good news. We got to keep ourselves grounded and look at the big picture of what's going on out there, so we're educated and informed and can make proper decisions based on all that information. In closing here, we'll leave you with a little bit of comedy, stand-up comedy from David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple. I'm not going to play this whole 15-minute clip, but he does start out with a few bangers. He obviously may have a side career in stand-up based on what I see here. Anyways, I'm going to play this on the way out. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, share the video, leave a comment below. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me what you like, don't like. I read all the comments. I try and get back to most of the people that do leave comments there, so I appreciate all those interactions. Till next time, peace and prosperity to you all.
I love Amsterdam. I haven't been here in a couple of years. I tell people it's because of the pandemic, but actually it's because marijuana is legal in most of the states now. No, I know Americans, when we think about Amsterdam, we tend to think, all we tend to think about is, drugs. So many people taking drugs, riding bicycles. I thought I was at the Tour de France. No, seriously though, there is a huge cryptocurrency and cryptography community in Amsterdam. A lot of you people may not know this, but we're actually less than a kilometer from the lab that developed the world's strongest hash. So, no, not right. No, you don't like that one. No. So we were down to either Amsterdam or Abu Dhabi, and I asked our events team whether they knew where the event was going to be, and they said they were worried some of the attendees might get stoned. I'm like, that doesn't narrow it down. All right, I could tell jokes all day, but we got a lot of content to go through, and I'd like to keep my job. I'm the CTO at Ripple. I get to work with amazing people, both inside Ripple and, of course, in the greater community. I mean, it's truly fantastic, and it is great to have Apex here in Europe. This is significant because there's a huge Web3 development group here. And the European market is very significant for XRPL developers and for the community at large. A lot of development going on in Europe and Asia, and of course, got to pick someplace. Our co-organizer is the XRPL Foundation, based in Europe as well, as is the XRPL Commons. Welcome to everybody from those organizations. Ripple's University Blockchain Research Initiative supports a whopping 14 European universities, including Netherlands-based Delft University of Technology, which just held an XRPL hackathon last week. We have some winners in the room here. They'll be presenting their demos for us, so welcome. For what's now Ripple for more than 10 years. I started in November in 2011. These are some of the early days of the development of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency movement. And really, all there was Bitcoin and a couple of clones. And this was right around the time when the first cracks in the sort of mining narrative were becoming visible. Back at the time, most people thought that proof of work was sort of the secret sauce that made Bitcoin what it was. And the first cracks were first starting to show. The idea at the time was that anybody could mine and that would be a great decentralizing force. And I think we know now that mining has become very consolidated and that it is not a decentralizing force. The decentralizing force is all of you. The decentralizing force is the community. The decentralizing force is that the ledger is public, is that it's open source, that all the transactions are public, that everybody knows what every transaction does. So I want to go back to the beginning of why we are all here. The XRP ledger is constantly innovating, and you all are on that journey with us. The XRP ledger features fast, cheap, and scalable transactions. You can confirm a transaction with finality in about 5 seconds for much less than a penny. That's a time scale in which a human being doesn't get bored or annoyed. I know it's surprising to think how important that was. In the early days, we thought 30 minutes was super fast. But it's not when a human being is waiting for it, and it's not when you have a chain of dependencies. And you can get that confirmation with high reliability and predictability. There is not the variation in confirmation times that you see in other blockchains. And again, this is all from the design back in 2012. We focused on payments, and that is our historical legacy. Payments are at the core of everything that we do in this space. Everything else that you look at, and whether it's DeFi, whether it's loans, whether it's stable coins, payments are at the heart of everything. Real-world asset tokenization. What are you going to do with a token? You're going to buy it, you're going to sell it, you're going to hold it. Well, 2 of those 3 things are payments. The XRP ledger's primary role, at least sort of functionally, is to be the authoritative registrar of XRP ownership, the origin of XRP, the core and root of XRP. But the XRPL ledger is much more than XRP. Since 2012, the XRP ledger has supported issued assets. These can be thought of as stable coins, legal obligations, ICOs, tokens that represent something of value.